Compton Center. Good. Welcome back. I got caught with my granny glasses on. And you are watching a live broadcast once again, TED 415, Multicultural Education in an Urban Context. I am so very happy, very, very happy to share with you. I just have to share this. It's our president-elect, when we had the announcement in the LA Times and the importance, the historical importance of that. But then they have, and then it talks about the fact that the first Black president-elect wins a solid mandate and a fortified Democratic majority in Congress. And I posted a question on Blackboard for you in the announcements as to how you feel that might have an impact on our educational system, and if you think it will. And here is hot off the press, the early release of Time magazine with President-elect Barack Obama in Chicago, November 4th, 2008. Oops, don't look. Anyway, getting on with our incredible opportunity here. My guest today in the first part of our second hour is Dobard Ross. We've been discussing Chapter 7 and religion and the educational implications that we have relating to that and to maintain the First Amendment rights. Mr. Ross is a CSUDH alumnus, I should say. He was a history and East Asian studies major, and he was the founder of the East Asian Studies Society in the late 1960s. And he is a retired General Electric employee, and he is now an adjunct faculty member at the Compton College, Junior College branch.
El Camino.
For El Camino at the Compton branch,
That's
right?
Correct.
And so I welcome you,
Well, thank you.
Mr. Ross.
Thank you.
One of the main aspects of your time here today is to discuss your affiliation and your as an off-campus advisor for, and I'm hoping I pronounce this right, and I need my the SGI, which is the Soka Gakkai International. And the founder of that is a peace activist for many, many years. But what I'd like for you to do is to just first describe what your role is and how you became involved with this organization.
Well, I've been, as we say, I've been chanting for 35 years, and I'll briefly touch upon that if possible.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about things that we use with our students, with our little things within our own practice, and we have incense. And
yes, I brought some prompts.
Oh, good.
So I have some prompts, I should say. So I'll show those to you in just a minute. But as I said, I've been practicing for 35 years, and my wife has been practicing a little longer. The SGI-USA, part of Soka Gakkai International, started with, I guess, Japanese war brides principally in the late 50s. Mm-hmm. And they were war brides married to American, as we call them, GIs at the time. They actually are the pioneers of this movement in the United States. Mm-hmm. And currently we have 12 million members in 192 countries. And there's 190 countries in the UN, and we're part of the UN as a non-voting, non-governmental. Yes, mm-hmm. Yes. And our basic belief is that the workings of the universe can be expressed or expressed in a single uh, principle or law, and that law is Nam Myo Horenge Kyo. And not the literal translations of Nam Myo Horenge Kyo means devotion to the mystic law of cause and effect through sound. So this is when we say we chant, this is what we're chanting, Nam Myo Horenge Kyo.
Nam Myo Horenge Kyo.
Okay, well, if you were going to repeat it, I'll say it slower.
Okay, I'll say it. Well, let me say this
Okay.
correctly.
Nam
Nam
Myoho
Myoho
Renge
Renge
Kyo.
Kyo.
Very good. So now
Now I just have to do it quickly.
yes, yes.
And we know how much is yoga involved in this or meditation?
No. This is an active religion for
We want to make that distinction.
everyday people.
And we want to make that distinction for our viewers.
That's correct. No, we believe in being active in our communities, in our families, in our lives. So this is how we're promoting world peace. And as you had mentioned earlier, peace activists, the history of SGI briefly is based upon the life humanistic philosophy of Nichiren, who was a 13th century monk in Japan. And we had priests, and I'll go into that part shortly. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here.
It's okay. And so based on the history of the SGI, how did it reach the point where we are right now?
Okay. In 1928, a innovative educator in Japan by the name of Saburo Makiguchi, in 1928, he became exposed to the teachings of Nichiren. And this life philosophy gave strength to his belief in changing the educational system of Japan at that time, which was geared towards students being prepared for industry and military. And he said it should be for the student, it's student-centered and it's humanistic, and that's what education should do. So his pedagogy was in that genre, so to speak. So in 1930, he started the Soka Kyo Iku Gakkai, which is the Value Creating Society.
The Value Creating Society.
In education.
So you hear that, and it's based on an educational principle, and it's kind of like when we refer to Dewey, where we focus on the individual over the group.
Yes. So
we always have to try to help our students understand the commonalities as well.
Being an educator myself, I understand. So during the 30s, the group was moving. It wasn't the forerunner of SGI. It was moving along. It wasn't very many members. He had the principal. One of the principals of the organization at that time was Josei Toda, who became the second president of the SGI. But going back in the 40s, during World War II, all religions in Japan had to subscribe to the government or the militaristic government's edict that they become part of Shinto, which is the worship of the national religion, worshiping of the emperor. Well, President Makaguchi and 19 others, they refused, and they were arrested as thought police, and they were put into jail. And unfortunately, President Makaguchi, he died in prison in 1944, and Josei Toda, after he was released, he was released just before the dropping of the atomic bomb in Japan, but he was released, and at that time, there was approximately 3,000 families that practiced